Hey guys, it is Sam from Aperilife, and in today's video I'm going to answer a question that I've received multiple times on my TikTok, which is regarding my career. I really don't talk about my career on TikTok, and I also don't talk about it here on YouTube. I've been there, I've done that, I've tried it, and I kind of wanted to focus my energy on life in Italy. But I still get asked the question when I bring up like little bits of bumps and things that end up happening with me in my flight attendant journey. And so I figured I would go ahead and give you all who are interested in joining the airline industry, I would give you all like maybe some advice or just maybe some story time or just some things that I think you all should know that will be useful for you as you are considering joining the aviation family. All right, so first things first, what airline do you want to work for and why? I think one of the biggest things that people have an issue with, or they have this preconceived notion about when it comes to flight attendants, is that they want to work for the airline that they like to fly on. And this is one big no when it comes to becoming a flight attendant, simply because look at the passengers that are sitting next to you that are waiting in line that are getting on those flights that you're flying on. A lot of times they're a pain in the butt, a lot of times they're broken bougie, a lot of times they're loud and crazy. Do you want to deal with those passengers? Now, I used to work for Spirit. I worked for Spirit for 7 years, and a lot of people have a misconceived notion that the passengers at Spirit are actually the worst passengers, when in reality, they're not. A lot of passengers on Spirit are families that want to just have a vacation on a budget. So you do kind of have a little bit of an easier passenger, believe it or not, when you're flying for a low-cost carrier, because a lot of these people know what they are getting themselves into. Versus if you're flying for one of the big three or one of the major carriers or an Emirates or a Qatar, something that is abroad, a lot of those airlines promise the world to their passengers. And so that means that the world has to be given by someone. And guess who's giving it? Coffee, tea, or me? Coffee, tea, or me? Coffee, tea, or me? You're giving them the world. And so it becomes something that is super frustrating because a lot of flight attendants, they get burnt out. And when the airline fails in some way, shape, or form, a lot of these larger carriers or carriers that you just love flying on, you're the person that's supposed to apologize. And a lot of people take that apology as a personal reflection of the service that they've given, and that's not the case. A lot of times it is the airline messed up. Sometimes it is the baggage people lost your bag. Sometimes it is the gate agent is the person who screwed up and was nasty to you. And guess who gets all that nastiness at the end of it? You do. So figuring out what airline you want to work for is something that's important. And I guess that'll lead me into another point, and the next point is wait for the airline that you want to fly for. If you specifically want to fly for an airline and it's an airline that you typically fly on, you can always speak to their flight attendants and ask what the reality is like flying on that airline. So if you're working a flight, they're done with service, come to the back and say, hey, I have some questions. I'm interested in becoming a flight attendant and I'm not sure on what airline I would like to work for. Is there something that you would honestly like to tell me about your airline? So that's one thing. Then after you have that happen, you need to go through a process of, I wasn't hired by my dream airline, but I was hired by this airline. I'm going to work for them in the meantime. I get it. I didn't have that happen, but there are tons of flight attendants that I know that said that they started training with this airline and then they left this airline and went to this airline, or they wanted to be here and they didn't hire them that time, so they went to this other airline, and then when they got hired by their dream airline later on, they went back to this airline. I get it. I 100% get it. I just don't like it. The main reason I do not like it is because it takes away a job positioning for another flight attendant who might have wanted to work at that airline. So let's say if you wanted to work for United and you got hired at Delta, and so you're like, okay, I'm going to just fly for Delta, go to the training and such. Then you get contacted by United. What ends up happening? Well, now you leave Delta in the middle of their training, so you do have money that company has lost training you, because a lot of these airlines, they spend a lot of money on training. And let's not forget the bridge that you've burned by starting training with another airline and leaving them. Just imagine if you go to another training and you do not complete it. Now you've been fired from one company and you've quit another company that's invested money in you. And then you have somebody who they could have put in your spot who wanted to work at Delta, who is no longer who is now doing the same thing that you're doing. So I would suggest you just do your research, find out what airline you want to work for, figure out why you want to work for the airline, the benefits of that airline, and then apply for that airline and to be patient. All right, so then the next thing here is what exactly are you expecting to get from the aviation industry? What exactly do you want from it? And if it's something that's realistic. There are a lot of people who think they're going to wake up in, go to sleep in Paris, wake up in Rome. And that's just not how it is. It just is not how it is. If you maybe are going to work for an airline like Emirates, where they're going to have you based in Dubai and you're going all over the world, that's one thing. But then you also have to look at, do people like working for Emirates? What about your downtime? What about this? What about that? When it comes to you working for an airline in the States, a lot of carriers are working domestic and internationally. If you're trying to work transoceanically, international, oceanic, I'll try not to interchange them. I feel that most people want to work transoceanically, meaning they want to go over a large body of ocean. They want transatlantic travel. And they want to go to Europe, they want to go to Africa, they want to go to Asia, they want to go to Central America. Most people, they're not saying, oh, I want to go to Birmingham. No offense to Birmingham. I don't want to go to, Boulder. No offense to Boulder. I don't want to go to Orlando. I don't want to go to, do a turn to Puerto Rico. I want to lay over in Puerto Rico. Like, a lot of people have this preconceived notion that airlines are how they were in the glory days of Pan Am, TWA, Tower, Kiwi, all those classic, La Dolce Vita, almost like Lucille Ball era airlines. A lot of people have this thing that, hey, that is what I want my airline experience to be like. And the industry is completely different now. Flight attendants are not flying one flight and then laying over for 2 days and then flying another flight and then laying over for a whole day and a half and then this and that. No, flight attendants are having short layovers. They're going to small cities. They're doing 3-4 flights in a day. And it's not always like that, but it is a big chunk of the time. And so what you have to do is you have to make the decision on whether or not you're going to bite the bullet for several years until the good stuff starts. The good stuff comes. The money comes. Those long layovers or those nice layovers, or you being able to buy your butter in Paris, and then you want to buy your pasta in Rome, and then you want to go to Brussels and get your chocolate, and then you want to go to Spain and you want to get your sangria and all of this other stuff. You want to have a nice long layover. You want to get your Botox abroad, and it comes. But there is sacrifice, and you're not just going to come into an airline as a new flight attendant and you'll have like newish type of trips for several years. So you'll come into the airline industry, and if you're doing it because you want to see all of these international routes, you can, especially on your downtime. But if that's what you're expecting to do and to see those routes with work, rude awakening, guys. That is not how it goes. It's not how it goes. Sorry to break it to you. It's not how it goes. So what you actually have to do is you have to take the time to say, like, okay, where am I going to be based with this airline? Why do I want to fly? Where will my base be? Because different bases have different routes. And then what are the airline, what are their rules for picking up trips? Because you're not going to hold a London, a Venice, a Rome, but you can maybe pick a trip up and do a work trip there, take it from another flight attendant and add it to your schedule. So what are the rules for picking up at a base? If I am based in Detroit and or in Chicago, and I see there's a cool trip to Honolulu or something out of DC, okay, like, can I do that if I'm not based there? So it's good to like look up these work rules and all of this different stuff to see if it's something that is suitable for you. And if you are interested in actually putting in the time, investing the time, biting the bullet when it comes to domestic flights. Is my thing working? It is working. When it comes to domestic flights, when it comes to reroutes, when it comes to holiday travel, all of that stuff, You have to like really think about what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get to the really sweet spot of your career with the airline industry, which will come. It will 100% come, guys. It comes. And you know, when I work for Spirit, there are people who love working for Spirit, that work for US Airway, that work for United, that work for American, that got furloughed, that decided to stay at Spirit when they did their callbacks, because they said, you know what, this is the lifestyle that I like. I have kids now, I have seniority here, and I can have my days off, and I have my friends. I can go out on holidays. I can go out on 4th of July. I'm not working, all of that stuff. All right, the next thing, and I'm gonna put this as the last thing for now because I think it's maybe enough, is if you are, it goes back to the sacrifice thing, if you are willing to commute and or move temporarily. And that is something that you have to really take into consideration, especially if you're a person who's in a relationship. There are a lot of people who are in relationships that have relationship issues because their partner doesn't like how much they're flying. They don't like that they're away. And listen, if you are coming into this industry, your partner damn well better know what you're getting into, because you're going to miss those holidays. You're not going to be home every single holiday. You're not going to be home on Christmas. You're not going to be home on Thanksgiving. Whatever holiday that you love, there is going to be a chance that you will miss it multiple times throughout your career. It just happens like that. That's how seniority goes. If it's a popular holiday, if it's like a well-known holiday in the US, you are going to most likely miss that holiday. Maybe not every year, but you're going to miss it. And with that, you have to have a partner, you have to have support that understands that this is not, and not only just support from the outside, but you have to support yourself here and say that, you know what, this is okay. I can celebrate Thanksgiving on a different day. I can come and see my family on that weekend. I can see my family the week before. You have to stop giving days the power that the power to control your feelings. It's just a day. And once you see it as just a day, then you will have this realization and you'll have this kind of freedom that comes with being a flight attendant. It's a really great feeling. It is a really great feeling. It's a really great career, guys. And that's really something that I cannot deny about it. It's a great career. I started flying when I was 19. I'm ever grateful for the aviation industry. So yeah, it is a great career. I'm super happy. And I put in my work. So I'm seeing the benefits. I'm seeing the benefits now. I'm seeing the benefits. I'm so excited. But yeah, so all of those sacrifices of having, understanding if you're going to live in a different city, guys, this is something, living in a different city, having roommates, commuting. This is something that is so common in the industry. You'll be based in Chicago. You'll be based in Dallas. You'll be based in Houston. You'll be based in Orlando. You're going to be based in DC, in Philly, in New York, in Seattle, in Minnie, and you do not live in these cities. And it is something that you have to understand that is a sacrifice. And eventually, hopefully one day you'll be able to go back to a base that's closer to home. But some airlines, they have Honolulu bases and they have no intention to ever open Honolulu back up. So you have to like put that all into a, and put that here and consider if it's something that you really want. So anyway, I wanted this video to be short. I hope that you all enjoyed this. Best of luck to anyone that is looking to be a flight attendant. It is a great career. I absolutely love it. On this page, I talk about my life in Italy. My life in Italy is possible because of my career. I'm able to live between two countries. I'm able to make great money and go to Italy and live la dolce vita and have just like so much support from all over the world because of my job. It is something that I really appreciate. And, you know, I remember my mom saying once, let me tell you guys a story real quick. I remember my mom once saying, somebody was like, and sorry, my chair is, my stool is creaky. I remember my mom saying to somebody, oh yeah, you can be a flight attendant like Simone. That's my full name. And I was just like, don't you dare make my job seem like I'm a joke. I was like, you know, it was one of those, put some respect on my name. Like, I'm a flight attendant. I can evacuate this aircraft. I can resuscitate a person. I can swim in an open body of water. I can do all of these things. And I can also go on a layover, have a good time with my crew, turn up, and the next day work a 9 to 10 hour flight like nothing even happened. Now do that. So anyway, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below if you're a flight attendant and you have experience that you would like to share with new people coming into the industry. I made this video, literally, this is off the top of my head. I don't have any notes down. So if I said something that was incorrect, I'm sorry, just correct me down below. I love constructive criticism. And if you have any suggestions or things that you would like to add or any more questions that you would like for me to answer, I'm going to try my best to respond to the comments. And I'll be honest, I'm always so nervous. I'm always so nervous to read comments. So I'm getting better at it. TikTok has kind of taught me that, because TikTok is like, mama gonna knock you out. So that's basically it. I will see you all in the next video. Ciao, ciao.